Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's Chris Jackson here coming at you live from downtown Chicago at a very lonely art gallery. But hey, I am so excited to be here today. One of my favorite people in the whole wide world is going to join us. We're going to have a little chat with the one, the only, the amazing Tai. He's so cool, he just goes by one name, Tai. I mean, man, if I was only that cool, but hey, I see he's out there, so waiting on him for to join us. But while we're waiting for that, I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone who has been so generous in their support to us. It comes from the bottom of my heart. We are in a pickle here like everyone else. We're a small business and we're struggling to make it through this little quarantine situation. So if you have it in your heart that you need more artwork for your home because you've been cooped up in that little room looking at the same stuff on the walls, or maybe even you have a blank wall, or you get tired of looking out the window and you want to fulfill it with something that's really inspirational, and I suggest that you go to our website and order some artwork and bring in someone that you should have artwork here. I got Tai, the man, the myth, the legend coming at us, and there he is. So darn cool, man. I wish I was as cool as you are.
Oh, whatever.
Oh, it is so good to see your face. I mean, this is a guy that I would drive halfway around the country just to hang out with. So I'm always like 15 steps behind you. I feel like I'm getting a little taste of your dust because you're so fast. I thought you were out in Salt Lake City, but it looks like
yeah, I'm in Hannibal now.
You're over in Hannibal, so just on the other side of the Mississippi.
Yeah, we left the Salt Lake City studio on Saturday morning.
Okay.
Drove straight through, drove 15 hours and got here at 3 o'clock in the morning and started getting to work on my space already.
Okay, well that's good. At least you got some nice new surroundings to look at, right?
Yeah, it was kind of needed. Yeah, it was definitely needed. So we are lucky that we have two places we can go and get away from, that and go back and forth. And
right. Just so a lot of people out there know that Tai is in one of the artists in this great country of ours that travels from city to city to city. He pretty much drags his whole family with him. They are a moving road show, and his life has been totally turned upside down. There's no more art fairs. So yeah. He's been kind of cooped up, and I know this guy that cooped up Tai is not necessarily a great thing, is it?
No, as that was very apparent at my live stream today.
Well, I got to be honest with you, I'm totally jealous. All of a sudden, you're coming at us with multiple camera angles and digital graphics. I'm like, man, I am always 15 steps behind you.
Well, when I have this much time on my hands, I like, what am I gonna do? I'll start doing live video streams. So I downloaded that app and I don't know. It's like the only way we can connect now with people, with the art appreciators is all online. So I didn't realize how much I actually like that interaction with people. I used to think I kind of don't like it, but I was getting just enough of it at art festivals or at shows that it filled that gap for me. But now this huge void has happened, and it's like I've been live streaming almost every single day.
Yeah, I have too. It's weird because I mean we're people, you know what I mean? We kind of thrive off other people's energy, and when that's missing in the life, there's a void there. And so in a weird way, doing this live stream, you're able to connect, at least in my psyche, that you're able to connect with people, and that kind of fills that for a little while in a weird digital way, I guess.
I think so. I'm definitely, people are getting to know me a little bit more than I used to be comfortable with, but oh well.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit, because I bet you that people don't really know your background. They walk by a tent, they kind of something catches their eye, and they know you through your artwork. But what about you? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, um, and bounced around. I mean, that was always home. Um, but that, yeah, I mean, that's basically where most of my life took place, in
Yeah,
Salt Lake City, Utah.
but your
I mean,
parents are from
my
far away.
dad is from the island of. My dad was a fob, so fresh off the boat. Um, but from Samoa, or Samoa, or it's. But yeah, he's a Pacific Islander, so he came to the States when he was 16 or 18 or something like that. And then my mom is Dutch, so well, she's Dutch and American, so I'm half Dutch, half American. I mean,
Yeah.
half Samoan.
Did they meet in Salt Lake City, or did
They
they
did
actually
meet in
meet
Salt
in?
Lake City. Yeah, they met.
Okay.
They met in Salt Lake City, Utah. Yeah, my mom, this brown guy moved into the suburbs of Salt Lake City, and he had a huge afro. Like the pictures. I
Back in
mean,
the
there's
day,
a
right?
you guys have that drawing of him that I did of my dad at the gallery.
I do. I'll get it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That was my dad when he first moved to the States when he was 16. I did it from a photograph of him.
Okay.
But yeah, that he had this big old fro, and that I didn't exaggerate that afro in that drawing. That's how big his afro, and I didn't exaggerate his muscles either. But yeah, she was 14 years old, and like she was so intrigued by, and her dad was, like this soldier, this army veteran, and a very hard nosed kind of guy. And my mom, as like sort of rebelled, and was like, "I'm gonna go date this wild looking guy." So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how
Yeah.
they hooked up, and they hooked up and then the rest of this history.
So you actually do you have some still connection to the island, don't you?
Yeah,
You go back there.
we have my father, before he passed. Well, I got lots of family in Samoa, but before my dad had passed away, the village that we lived in, or that he was grew up in, one of the chiefs wanted to give him a title before my dad had passed away, and it never happened. And so about a year after my dad passed, in March of 2014, I think was when it was. I was given a chief title, so that's a whole thing. Like it's a big honor, but it's like a whole. If you're interested in it, that's something you can look up, like Samoan chief titles and how and what that all means. But I haven't been back since I got my title. It's been so busy, and I had a tour in France, and it's been.
Sure.
So we were planning on going to Samoa this summer, but
Yeah.
travel
Who knows?
it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I do have a title in Samoa, and my family is in Samoa, and my dad had built a big home in the village that we live there, where we're from. So
Very cool. Now, should I be addressing you, Your Majesty, or is it just casual?
no, not even close. That's what. Yeah, sometimes that's like sort of like I mean, people have their titles, and
Right.
not it's definitely not like royalty, but it's a huge honor, and they don't just give them to anybody. So
No,
but
it's really
something
cool. I
I'm
mean,
very humble about, and it's very uncomfortable for me to speak about, but
right. Well, I mean, it's your dad, and then that's so cool that you
yeah.
kind of lived through that, and
Yeah.
and family's strong that way. So
Yeah, my father's well respected, and in the islands,
yes,
and in the States. Before he passed away, was he was a man of service. He did anything for anybody. So
sweet. So before you were a, a master of the ballpoint pen, so to speak, you had quite the career in movie making, and I bet you there's even some musicality. I wouldn't surprise me if you were part of a band, so to speak, too. But I know that you definitely made some feature films.
Yes.
Why don't you share a little bit about that portion of your life?
Okay. Yeah. Early on, I always wanted to make movies. I wanted to be a special effects artist. I loved people like Toby Hooper and Clive Barker and Tom Savini, and so I wanted to make movies. And right out of high school, I made two feature-length films. I've always been ahead of things. I'm almost too far ahead. So before people were making movies on video and in film festivals, I made two feature films on video. So my first feature film was called Luck and Rat Poisoning, and my second feature film was called Hustlin' a Hustler. Um, and you know, I was 18 years old, but I mean, I went for it. I went to film school for a minute, and my film professor said, "This money that you're spending on school, you should just go make a feature film because you're already way ahead of anything we'll be able to teach you here." So, and then I made two other feature length films after that. The only one that you can see is a movie called Dark Room. It's available on streaming devices. At one point it was on iTunes and it was on Hulu. Um, but the distribution company that picked it up for distribution, I think they went out of business, so it's harder to find. But if you want to watch the movie, it's called Dark Room. I wrote, directed, edited, and produced it, and it's a. I'm proud of the movie. We made it for a really low budget. So, but Todd Bridges from Different Strokes is in it.
You got
Darren
some star
Dalton,
power. Holy
yeah,
cow.
yeah, whatever. Yeah, he was awesome. He was great. And then Darren Dalton, he plays the head Soch in that. What's that movie? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I get caught up in it, but he was also in Red Dawn. He was the original Red Dawn movie. Darren Dalton was the kid that turns against the rest of the kids. So anyway, it's a pretty cool movie. It's very European in that there are no explosions. You have to think when you're watching it. It's a lot like my artwork. Lots of metaphors and then I was in a band too. But then those you can. My band was called Bucket Tooth, and all of our albums were just released on all streaming platforms. So
Cool. Now, going back to the movie, did you make a cameo in that feature film,
I am. I'm at the very end of the movie. Me and my producing partner at the very end of the movie. The last scene takes place in a bar, and we're sitting at the bar, and we give each other a cheers at the very end. So
Sweet.
my other three movies, Twice Today, Hustlin' and Hustlin', Luck and Rat Poisoning, I only just released little bits and pieces of it on my Instagram and Facebook, but we didn't get distribution for any of those, so you can't really see those anywhere.
Okay.
Nowadays you make a movie and like there's so many places to...
Oh, you can just upload it, right?
Yeah.
It goes wild. Right. So now going back to the band then, what instrument did you play?
I played the trumpet when we needed it, but I was the front man, so I was the MC, if you want to call it. I was the lead vocals, so I wrote the lyrics and did that.
Traveling around rock star.
Well, we were pretty big in Salt Lake City. Like we played at some huge crowds, and we played at all the staple event center, like all the major places that are mostly now burned to the or are useless. But yeah, we were pretty big. We did a South Dakota tour, and that was super bizarre because I was rapping, but the band played kind of like this folk kind of fish like music, and so we thought it would work, but it was pretty bizarre. Like the first place we played in was one of those places where like peanuts were all over the floor, and it was I have a video because I was filming a video, and I have a video right when we got to the place, and I turned the camera on myself, and I said, I hope we don't get killed in here.
It's like chicken wire up in front of
it was a total Blues Brothers moment, like where I felt like yeah, it was pretty wild.
It doesn't matter. You feel so cool, man. You're in a rock band and you're traveling on tour. I mean, like, is there anything better in life?
That's how I felt. They put us in a band house, and it was a total dump, like the place that we were at. But we were like, we're at the band house. Yeah, it was cool.
That's cool. So, so what kind of parlayed you then from these other creative devices to kind of start putting your ideas down on paper or canvas or whatever?
Well, I've always drawn. I've always been a painter and a pen artist. Making the problem that I discovered with making movies is um, I have I've discovered now I wasn't confident enough early on, but I have an artistic intuition, and when you're making a movie, you're painting on a canvas. It's not just you painting on the canvas; it's all of these other ideas and other people. And
Yeah.
I've discovered that I can't. That's not a good working environment for me. I just need my own vision to go onto paper. I don't want to run it by anybody. I don't, so, and then also making movies is expensive. If you're in the independent realm, you're kind of raising the money on your own, doing all that by yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
that was tough. I produced television for a little while in Salt Lake City too. We had two TV shows running on TV for a while.
Get
That was
out of here.
cool. That stuff is it's very difficult. So,
It is.
so
Almost you need to have a big backer, but then you also have to answer to that, and it gets away your artistic vision too, doesn't
and
it?
it's a different kind of grind. I mean,
Yeah.
the art grind is definitely a grind, but television is super gnarly. That is and we did a weekly television show. That was awful. I have pictures of me when I was doing during that time, and like I had bags under my eyes. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I had been awake for 3 years straight. And then making movies is also a different grind, but this is much more my pace. And then I always planned on going back to making movies and stuff, but after my artistic career started taking off and people were collecting my work regularly, and I was
Yeah.
able to make the living that I am now, um, this is this is this is good for me right now. So
Sweet.
I'm
Yeah.
making enough to I'm getting by my artwork. So that's,
Sure. Right.
I mean,
Right.
times
Without
it's a
all those
little
other.
different now.
Yeah. I mean, well, you don't have all those other stresses. I mean, obviously, you have the stress of hey, the rug's just taken from underneath my feet
Yeah,
because of the art fair situation, but you can still create at least without having to answer to anybody else.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I gathered that you were a big doodler, like let's say in high school. I mean, because it really, your main tool is the ballpoint pen.
Yeah. Yeah, since elementary school, I've been doodling like that. And that all started, the pen started because the sound of pencil on paper was like fingernails on a chalkboard for me. So
Okay.
I hated it. So I was immediately drawn to the pen. And I have drawings. I was going to show them at the live stream, but I have drawings. My parents kept most of my drawings around, and I always had them around. So I have drawings from when I was 8 years old all the way till now. And I've been working on a book forever, like an autobiographical book
Okay.
that that talks about my growth and how it was as an artist, and the pictures to match that, the time of my life and all the different kinds of how I drew and the growth of my style. So that's a book that I've been wanting to come out with forever, that hopefully we can sell at the gallery as well.
Oh yeah. Bring it on.
Adrian and I are working on a book actually
That's pretty cool
I've
because
been
now Adrian's your lovely wife who
yeah,
works behind the scenes probably harder, if not as
she does it
hard
all.
as we all do, right? You're the face, but like without her, you don't have you, right?
All I do is draw and
She handles it all, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to A. Hey.
Yeah, I doubt she's watching because or maybe she is, but I don't. It's kind of weird watching your significant other.
I know.
in this.
Who knows if Laura's on? Hey, listen, I know that I just want to give a shout out. I know a lot of people are joining us. If anyone's got a question for Ty, please type it in there, and we'll be sure to answer that for you. So let's go back to you discovered you hate the pencil, you like the pen, and you're going to kind of make it as an artist. Are you just where are you starting to get your ideas from? Like, where's it coming from? Pop culture, political
I do some.
views?
Yeah, I don't purposely set out to end up doing pop culture sort of stuff, but I'm heavily influenced, so I'm hyper observant. so much. So yeah, I've always said it's like so much so that it causes like incredibly high levels of anxiety. So
Okay.
I watched a lot of movies growing up, and I still watch a lot of movies. Not as much television, but um, so all that stuff is up inside this wacky factory, and it's like just fumbling around.
Get it out. Get it out. Get it
Yeah.
out.
So as soon as I sit down and I start drawing, I don't think about it. I just turn on music, and I tell people it's a lot like when you used to talk on the phone. No one talks on the phone anymore. But when you used to talk on the phone and you'd just be doodling, and by the time you're done with your phone conversation, you'd have this like really elaborate doodle that you didn't even realize you had made. So since we don't talk on the phone as much anymore, I use music as that tool where
Okay.
I just check out from what I'm working on, and the music plays, and I just listening to music, and then usually I'll do after about 6 hour drawing session, my back starts to hurt. So I will stop at that point. But I can go 6 hours and just suddenly not even realize what I just created and go like, oh, there we
Yeah.
go. Oh.
I've heard from other artists and like musicians almost that they kind of hit the subconscious level where they just fall into it, and you have no idea about time. It just
Yeah.
kind of just goes by, and you're like, holy cow, I didn't eat for 2 days or whatever, you know?
And a lot of sort of younger artists don't necessarily get there yet, and it's because they're still trying to discover their style and who they are as artists. And I didn't get to that point when I could draw like that until when I was about 33 years old. I'm 43 now, so I mean, but it took that long to really discover. I think traveling helped. When artists talk about discovering style, it's really about discovering yourself, because
Okay.
yeah, it's what your voice is, and then
Yeah.
you don't have much of a voice when you're young. I mean, you have one, but it's full of angst and it's full of things that aren't really you. And then when you discover yourself, that becomes your style, and so that's when you can get to those levels of working subconsciously, just from your subconscious. And not all artists work that way, but I know that's how I work. So
Yeah. I remember once at an art festival, someone kind of commenting that your work almost was very, very dark.
yeah,
Uh, and then I loved your response is like, well, no, it's not really dark. You're just seeing like the guns or the maybe the coloring of the ballpoint pen in there. But when you really start to kind of dive into it and you understand the meaning behind it, it wasn't necessarily what people were thinking of when they first looked at it. There's a
yeah.
lot more to it the more you dive into it. And that's a kudos to you because there's so much detail in there
Well,
that if you do take a minute to like really hone in on it, it's probably not the initial subject that you kind of first thought it was, you know?
yeah, on face, but that's pretty much how everybody is. And a lot of my artistic, my voice and what I create as a contrast is comes from my growing up, being half mixed race, and growing up in a predominantly white suburban atmosphere. Even though I wasn't like dark brown, I still felt out of place and outcasted. And so all of my creation and all my artwork has and that was a really intense thing when I was growing up, and all that intensity is still in there. But
Right.
there's not a negativity behind it. It's just so what I was saying is, when you see something face value, you judge it immediately. And when you're willing to spend the time to actually look in there, there's a lot more to be discovered. And so that's what I mean about my life growing up, or seeing something, judging a book by its cover. You don't know what's in there until you start reading it. So
Right. We did have a question from Kay Miller. She says the new Fox piece that you were showing in your live Facebook video earlier today, is the center figure inspired from
yeah,
Michelangelo's Last Theater? Yes.
yes,
Yes.
it's
Why don't you share if you got it there with us?
the last disposition. Yeah, I'm doing. I want to do a whole series. So yeah, there's Christ, and but yeah, it's based off of that. Yeah, Michelangelo's Last Disposition. What is that? I was struggling with it at the time. What is that period again?
Oh gosh, you're putting me on the spot now too.
No, like I keep trying to say revolution, but not what the hell. It doesn't matter. But I'm doing a bunch of like Michelangelo inspired pieces and um, uh, well, my brain is quit on me.
The Renaissance
The
period.
Renaissance.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes,
Oh
yes. Not
my
the Revolution, or maybe it's the Revolution of the Renaissance.
I when I was what happens if I'm stuck in a word, if I try to think about it, it's over. So I just try to skip past it. But I knew it was like I kept wanting to say revolutionary, but I knew it wasn't. But it was
Right.
Renaissance. So yeah, my plan is to do a whole body of Renaissance period work now.
So that's what you're going to be working on next.
Yeah, so this one I'm finished, and then the next one I have in mind is the when God's touching, what's that called on top of the?
Oh, the creation.
Yes, the creation.
Yes.
So my
Right.
next, so it's I don't think I have the sketch outline for it, but it's like a deer and a like a mule deer. It's pretty cool. I'm excited for him.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you know, it's funny because like I think about a year ago you were doing well, there's like you do like Gumby and you do what's the Martian guy that you just did last year? Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now
Yeah.
you've gone on to Michelangelo.
Yeah. Last year was a specific. I specifically wanted to do a bunch of pop culture referenced work. So each year around the winter, I decide what do I want to focus on for the year.
Right.
And this year I was going to do the whole vintage circus thing. And then I did 3 circus pieces and I was like, I'm already over that.
It didn't last too long. It was a very short period.
That might happen. It's very possible that happens with the Renaissance period stuff. Like, I love that one. I have 2 other ones that I'm really excited about doing, but I don't know. I may want to move on to something.
So I know that you've had to kind of scramble to kind of keep yourself engaged. I believe you're doing a live drawing sessions. Are you want to explain what that's all about?
Yeah, so I've been doing these. They're drink and draws, and they're through Zoom. So like everyone kind of gathers, and I have a specific topic that we're gonna draw. So the last few we did a trout, fish.
Okay.
You know, but they're all in my style. And it's kind of like a class. It's way more casual. It's not really like now do this, but it starts out where I just show you how I draw and you draw along with me. And so the last few we've had like 100 people from all over the world just drawing with me. And you know, we have you don't have to drink, but I do. But I just pick to drink. But you know, it's been nice because it's given people a break. Everyone's kind of stuck in their home, and so really, they're 2-hour sessions. But every one I've done, I've gone for 4 hours. But you know, you only have to stay for 2. I mean, you don't have to stay either. But people who signed up, they're about half of them leave at the 2-hour end mark, and then the other 2 stick around. But it goes by so quick. So the idea was, this is how I can supplement my income. I'm not charging a ton of money, and you know, we're just charging to have people come in. But
I mean, it's kind of cool. Like you can sit around and watch TV, or you guys can, as a whole family, can kind of get around, right?
That's what it's been. Entire families have been logging in, and they're all drawing together, or like it's some people have been doing it as date night, where they it's just like a drink and draw. Or what else do they call them? A wine.
Sip, wine and sip, or whatever. Yeah, draw and sip, like or whatever.
It's just virtually, and you're doing it in my style. Since I think people work with pen, but my style is very. It's only mine, and so I have been finding people have been having a good time doing it. So I have one coming up this Saturday. We're drawing a sperm whale, and there's plenty of seats still available to sign up for it.
So how do you sign up if anyone out there wanted to join?
So you can on Art by Tai, the Instagram page, my Instagram page in the link. There's a link in the bio. I mean, in my bio. That'll just take right to the drink and draw with Tai sessions. and I'm doing them every other week right now. And if people are still into them after this list, then I'll do it. But it's been mostly just a nice way to a positive way to get people's minds off of everything else and just
Yeah, it's such a positive way because I mean you can sit around and there's so much TV you can really watch. I mean, so this is a great way to and I love the fact that it's a family thing. I mean, I really do. That's kick ass. So
yeah, I do get a lot of people saying, is it for kids too? Because it's called a drink and draw, but I'm mostly the only one talking, and I know how to hold my tongue. I'm not. I mean, I don't. It depends. No, just I know my environment, so I know. I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. I grew up in a heavily LDS area, so I know how to speak around people.
Yeah. Plus, what maybe people don't know about, because like you seem you're a really cool dude and stuff, but you are the heart of you. You're a very much a family man. So
I am. I'm mellow. I come off looking, and I dress. And I'm tattooed all over, but I'm not. I'm nothing like the cover of the book. There's a lot more.
That's right. It's like your pictures, right?
Yeah.
You gotta dig a little bit deeper and you see the real softy there.
I am a softy. I really am. I'm sensitive as all hell. I cry in movies and like.
We're gonna get done with this and we're just gonna start bawling.
You never know.
So let's go. So you just drove from Salt Lake City out to Hannibal, Missouri, and you've bought some land there a few years ago and a couple properties, and you're converting a lot of this into like a studio gallery space. You're starting, you have your home there, but you also are building a gallery space, and I believe an Airbnb too.
Yeah.
That's kind of on the docket.
Yeah, so I bought this house because it's in the middle of the country in Hannibal, Missouri, and because I travel all over as an artist, we needed, and we're from Salt Lake City, so it was always a 21-hour drive to every show.
Yeah,
and
what a nightmare.
I found a home here, and I bought it. It was another artist. So Hannibal, Missouri has a bunch of festival artists. So from all over, a lot of them live right here because of how easy it is to get somewhere. So about 7 years ago, I bought a house, and then 3 years ago, I bought the house next door for $5,000. So, yeah, I mean, in the Midwest, they're giving away homes because there's no real work. So, if you travel, it's you can make a life out of it. But you can't buy a home for that in Chicago, Midwest.
No,
but.
You can't even pay the property tax for that.
So yeah, I bought this old 1851 home, and I'm doing all the work because that's what I know how to do. Labor. I worked. My dad was construction, so that's my most passionate thing is building. Like I dream about building walls all every day, all day. So anyway, I'm building the gallery right next door, and it will have up top. It'll have an apartment like a B&B, so you can, when you're traveling the country, if you want to come see my work in person, you can come stay in the gallery and then come, hang out in the gallery. So
it's Mark Twain country out there too, isn't it? I mean, it's real picturesque. I mean,
we're right off
it lives up to its reputation.
Yeah, we're literally like a 2-minute walk straight up from the Mississippi, and like Mark Twain's boyhood home is kitty corner from where I'm building my gallery. It's not on the main street, but it's just up the street a bit. But we get tourism here because of Mark Twain. Who knows if that's going to be the case in 5 years? I mean, I don't even know if they read Mark Twain anymore in schools. Edited versions of Mark Twain. but he's the guy. The guy is like, he's got the best quotes ever. Like if you buy a Mark Twain quote book, like the dude was just a witty, really, really smart ass. So, but yeah, that's the plan for me. And listen, this COVID-19 thing is a total nightmare, and it's really bad for a lot of people. But I've always tried to do the best that I can with whatever I've been dealt. And so since I've got no time right now since I've got plenty of time, I don't go to shows. I'm using some of my savings to finish up the gallery, finish up my studio, and finish up some stuff that I just haven't had time to do because I've been traveling so much. And who knows if shows are going to be back. I mean, we may not be able to get back to art festivals for for another year.
Here. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we were like, I bought another property for really cheap, and we're gonna put some renters in there just to supplement our income. So those are the things you got to do at this time. I couldn't go back to a job. Fortunately, my collectors are still, and you guys are still open, and so I mean, are still online sales and stuff. So I'm not that worried about it. But a big chunk of like selling our artwork is through arts festivals. So
it is. And just to give a shout out to everyone who's interested in purchasing some artwork, your artwork, you can go to our website. That's j2gallery.com. And if you click on Tai's, you'll see his picture there. Both his originals and all of his prints, you are offering like an enormous 30% discount. You're going to use the promo code TAI, T-A-I, and you're going to get 30% off.
Does it have to be all caps?
Wow.
Does it have to be all caps?
No, I think lower will work.
Okay.
It's pretty not case sensitive.
Okay.
But hey, 30%. You never, ever, ever, ever.
Not only that. I mean, you've got work of mine that's not available anywhere else. I don't even have it. I mean, it's only through you guys. So
right, we've got this part of this Tai 30 series.
Yes,
we sold the Bob Marley earlier today.
Did someone end up buying that Tom Waits one or not?
Yep, the Tom Waits one already took off.
There's Sage Francis. For those of you who don't know, he's awesome.
Yes, and then here's your.
Oh, Aesop Rock. Yeah.
Yes. Right, and I'll give you one more.
And you. Oh my gosh! I can't have that one.
Doesn't need to have that, right?
I know, especially in Chicago.
Look at that face.
That's Chicago could get, Joe.
Right, but we've also got, which I don't have with me at the moment, but we have them some original ballpoint pen drawings that you released just a couple of years ago, and we have it all framed up nice in black frame.
Yeah, and you're the only gallery that I've allowed to sell the actual pen drawing. So
exactly. So hey, this is a golden opportunity if you wanted to invest in some artwork and kind of live with something cool. It's much cooler to hang a piece of artwork than a stock certificate on the wall, I'll tell you.
Yeah, no.
Right. So listen, I'm not going to keep this on too much longer. Why don't you tell me a little something, maybe something I don't know about you? Give me something I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I didn't.
What's your favorite vegetable?
Oh God, these days I'm surprisingly I'm kind of enjoying not doing festivals. My favorite, really truthfully, one of my most favorite festivals is the Utah Arts Festival.
Right.
It's a hometown festival for me, and it's long. It's a long 4 days, but I don't know. You rarely have to worry about the weather there. I mean, it's really hot, but you never have to worry about like storms, and the people are really cool. And Salt Lake City's a pretty awesome place. What people think of it is not at all what you would.
Oh my God, I was blown away my first time there. I mean, just you're in the valley and the mountain, the snow-capped mountains all around you. I would love to go there almost in the wintertime to check out what that snow ski season's like. But in the summertime, it's beautiful.
Our license plates say the greatest snow on earth. There's a reason for that.
Yeah. Well, listen, Tai, man, I totally appreciate you taking the time out and invite us into your life and picking your brain a little bit about what you do and what motivates you. You're awesome.
It's been fun, man. You're the best. You guys are the best.
Thanks, brother.
You need a drop down. You need a drop down thing that says. Oh, you don't.
Well, I need to hire you for getting all these cool graphics up there. I'm just not as like I said in the beginning of this. I'm always 15 steps behind you.
Well, it's one of the benefits of working in movies and videos earlier on. So.
Right. But listen, you guys stay safe, and we'll catch up with you soon. Okay.
Hey, everybody. Cheers.
All right. Thanks, man. See you later.
Bye.
Well, there he is. The myth man, the myth, the legend. Good friend of mine. He's got a great family. He really does have a soft core to him, and he's a family guy. So if you're interested in taking some of those online drawing classes, it's just a nominal little fee that help cover the Zoom costs, basically. But you can have a whole evening of learning how to draw, kind of see how his mind ticks a little bit. It's great family fun. You go to Art by Tai, that's his handle on the Instagram. And if you were interested in getting some artworks, like I mentioned before, we are offering 30%. It's really unheard of. 30% off of Tai's pieces. It's TAI in the promo code. You go to our website, j2gallery.com, and you're going to support our little small business and his little art career. But listen, I appreciate everyone stopping in today. We'll be around with some more programming as the week goes on, and I hope that you're safe, you're healthy, and then you keep the creative soul going. All right, bye, y'all.